Hey, welcome back to another episode of One on One with Courtney Starks. I am so happy to have you guys back. For those of you who will watch later, please tune into my IG TV story for all of the other episodes. All of them have been amazing so far this season. Tonight we have two shows. Tonight there are two shows. One that's going to happen right now, and then one 9 o'clock. So we're going to be pretty busy, and I am definitely looking forward to this one. Our first guest is... Okay, let me just say this. There are a few people in my life, or a few actresses in my life, where I just feel like, man, like my heart is like this at all times. And this lady is that. She is the epitome of that for me. And I have been following Miss Yolonda Ross since Stranger Inside. And if anybody has seen that movie, you know. That's all I'm going to say is, you know. So I'm going to bring Miss Yolonda Ross on now because I don't want to hold on any longer. Let's go, guys. Hi, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry about the confusion earlier. It's insane. I had two pages, and I am so sorry about that. But oh my God, I'm so happy to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure, my pleasure.
Listen, I was saying before you got on, I just saw you come on. I was like, listen, out of all the actresses that I admire, you are definitely number one. I've always said this. Anybody that knows me very well, they know I love you. I have loved you my entire life, and
Thank you.
I'm just so thankful to have you right now in this moment. So thank you once again. I appreciate it.
Sure.
So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Um, Miss Yolanda Ross. Um, First off, I gotta say there are a couple of things that I love about you, and one of them is just your variety, your wide variety of movies and things that you've been in. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah. Antoine Fisher being another one that I love so much. Um,
thank you.
but I always said Stranger Inside was it for me. You and Miss McFadden had me like, woo! I was in all
Yeah,
my
it's my
feels.
favorite too.
It literally touches me every time I get it. So let's talk a little about your start. How did you get started? Because I know that you went to school for fashion. So
Yeah.
how did you get involved with acting?
Well, I mean, being in New York, it's a pricey place, so any way you can make a little extra money, is always a good thing.
Yeah.
A friend of mine that I was working with at the time, she was doing background work on SNL, and she
Mhm.
couldn't do it one weekend because she was sick.
Yeah.
So, I just asked if I could fill in because it sounded like a fun gig. I knew it wouldn't take much. I watch SNL, just it's fun,
Yes.
So they let me and they kept hiring me back. So I got my union card, I got an agent, and then I eventually got my first audition, which was New York Undercover. And
Hmm.
with that, I really did, feel what, something that was interesting to me because I had gotten bored with the fashion industry and, the company that I was working for, they, after I did New York Undercover, they closed up in New York. So I took
Hmm.
that like as a sign to maybe take this seriously.
Yeah.
I did I started bartending so that I knew I would have some sort of income because
Hmm.
acting was a whole new thing to me, like
Yeah.
understanding how to make money when you are not working, and not having a regular paycheck. That's a whole different
Yeah.
world, So it was like 4 years later, when I
Hmm.
got Stranger Inside. So it doesn't always just happen overnight. That was
Yeah.
4 full years before that happened. But it, it was something, like I said, it moved something in me,
Hmm.
and it made me, it opened up things. It got me thinking about other things. It just did a lot for me,
Yeah.
and it was like I learned some things about myself, and that was it for me.
Yeah. So with Stranger Inside, shout out to Mr. Vinga McFadden. First of all, you
Yeah,
guys,
she's amazing.
you two were like this.
Yeah.
Now, how did you dive into this character? You said you figured from NYC Undercover to this movie. How were you able to portray your character?
I mean, they're all different. They're
Yeah.
all different. So, you look at what's on the page
Hmm.
and what the director wants, and
Yeah.
then, the character really, to me, they take over.
Yeah.
So it's not even a matter of, ooh, can I do this, or ooh, whatever. It's they come over
All
you,
right.
and they become a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I'm just a vessel for those characters.
Mm.
And it's the same with Antoine Fisher.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a child molester,
Right.
but that person came through me.
Right.
So it's just no judgment on the characters, and do what the thing is.
Hmm. Yeah. Now you said you earlier that you kind of like just kept auditioning and kept going and going and going until you got your part and everything. What other components did you have to go through in order to do your due diligence in this acting world?
Explain that to me exactly.
So like, what did you know? Something like most people have to take classes and they got they go into this whole program. What did you have to do before you even got I'm a Stranger Inside? Was there like a
I Well, Stranger Inside took like a month's worth of auditioning. You
hmm
know, um, that was a whole long process in itself, just getting that job.
yeah
I didn't take classes. I would say, I had pictures, resume, because at the time it was the kind of thing where people still had hard pictures.
right
I didn't have any connections because I was new to the business.
mm,
So it was getting the audition and just doing the work.
right
And to me, as far as acting, or to me, acting is human behavior.
mm,
So I've always been interested in human behavior, why we do things, how we do things, where we come from. Like, nobody starts at the point that you see them at.
right
There's a
right
before that,
hmm
where something happened or things happened to get to where they are.
right
So just all of that is, to me, is a part of every character.
hmm and I also have read that you're like on both sides. You're at LA. You in LA and you're in NYC.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that has to be insane. How do you manage your time on both sides? Like, that has to be hard.
Well, you know what? I was more New York.
Hmm.
Once I got the Shy, I'm literally more Chicago and
LA.
LA, with
Hmm.
a little bit of New York. It's like
Hmm.
I was always in between New York and LA, just kind of
Yeah.
splitting time. But in my case, I'm somebody without a family at home, so it's easier to move.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Maneuver.
uproot. Yeah, it's just
Hmm.
me moving around.
Yeah.
So.
So speaking about time, how has this time been for you? I know for everybody else, for a lot of us, it's like up and downs. Quarantine has had its moments. How has it been for you?
It's been interesting. It's weird because I'm pretty much a homebody anyway,
Yeah.
but it's weird when you're kind of forced to be. That
Yeah.
there's a difference, a mental difference.
Right. Because now you're just like, I got things
Yeah,
that I
like, I
want to do.
really don't want to go anywhere and can't really go anywhere. So yeah, it's different. I would say the biggest thing has been, not being able to just sort of get with a couple friends and hang out and have dinner, like that kind of thing. Because that's
Hmm.
really what I like. When I was in LA, I did do that a few times. Like, we were, because we had like a big yard, so we would, separate and have our little areas and have wine and something, or
Hmm.
order some food, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, and I'm like you. I'm a homebody. But as soon as they were like, you can't go anywhere, I'm like, I got things to do. I got places that I want to go. Meanwhile, I don't have a damn place that I need to go
You
but to in
know?
front of my TV. So
Yeah, and even, with the show and doing so much PR,
Hmm.
it's not like you have to get up and go to the places and, get
Right.
a car, and do makeup, hair, I mean, you do a little something, but you're
Hmm.
at your house. So
Right.
it's kind of weird cuz it's a little invasive, but at the
Hmm.
same time it's so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that. Now to get into the shot. First of
Uh-huh.
all, you played the hell out of this Jada character.
I
You
love
played.
Jada.
I love Jada, and I love the blooming that she's gone through from
Yeah,
season
me
one to
too.
now. And talk about how was it for you when you first got the role?
Well, it's funny because like I actually auditioned for the role like the year before or the beginning of
Hmm.
the year, and I didn't get it. And there was actually a whole other pilot made with a whole different cast.
Mm,
And out of that original cast, I think Papa was the only one that was. I think Papa and Tiff were
yeah.
the only two that were part of that cast. So it came back around at the end of the year,
Hmm.
and I, got the sides again, and saying like, "Are isn't this that part I auditioned for before?" And it was. So it
Hmm.
was just a matter of. It was
Timing.
kind of, yeah. I mean, it was interesting because it was like that time when it came back around, I don't know if they had already gone through everything or what, but it was like I went, straight to I went straight to network,
Right.
and that's when I auditioned with all the boys that were going to be playing, auditioning for my son. And I do remember like being with Jacob Lattimore. It was like I knew he was the one.
Yes. Yeah.
He was so just, we got along easy. He was fun and quick with it, and
Hmm.
just, yeah, and he got
Yeah.
it.
And your chemistry on TV is amazing. Like you can,
It's
yeah, it's amazing. And one thing I can say about Jada is I love this awakening of herself in this
yeah.
season more than last season. And one thing that I was saying because I watch it and I'm just like, no, Jada, don't do this, Jada, no, Jada. So we're going to talk about this real quick. So I loved last season how you were like, hey, you're a man now, Emmett. You're going to be okay. And then this season, you're like, okay, you guys can come and stay.
Well, I felt like I was like, oh, they ain't gonna be out. But it's, she's been alone for a while,
Yeah.
and it gets lonely, and okay, y'all can stay for a little bit,
Right.
just to kind of, have roommates for a little bit. But you got a whole house full of roommates now.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I think it's time for them to go again.
I just think I find it that the love she has for her son supersedes it all. You know what I mean? Like, and no matter what,
Well,
I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna
but
have
isn't that with most moms?
right. You know what I
Their
mean? Right.
kids.
That's just real life. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's my baby. So I'm gonna make
Yeah.
sure he's okay. But we
And
do
his
see,
kids.
and his kids, right? But we do see that Jada finds love. I know
Yeah.
last season you go into you go back to the ex, and I was also like, no, Jada, do not do this to me right now. But you kind of,
Well, but hold up. You know what? When I read that, I never thought that they were getting back together because I mean he
hmm.
was with somebody. I
Right.
just felt it was just one of those moments,
Hmm.
one of those moments on the couch.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's all.
So, where do you right now in this moment with Jada right now? Where do you see her blossoming? I love the fact that you opened up about her personal journey. We know about Keisha and her being kidnapped and assaulted. And last episode, we kind of got to hear about Jada's story, which I don't think I
Hmm.
remember hearing. So where do
No,
you
never. Yeah,
ever right? So
no,
where do you
that was the first time that had ever
yeah,
come
which
out.
was really big. You know what I mean for her growth, being able to kind
Hmm.
of tell that story. Where do you see Jada going further in this series?
I have no idea because I never know what they're going to write. I mean, they usually
Hmm.
tell us an idea about our arc, like, before we start up the new season.
Yeah.
But because of, everything that's going on, I don't even know when that is or, any of
Mm,
that. So I don't know where she may be going. I do hope that, she gets into, I hope, we see her growing more into areas that she may be uncomfortable in, as far as like growth, and just learning,
hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
because it is still her beginning, you know, as a woman. She just stepped out of being a caregiver to everybody, and
Everybody
now,
else.
yeah, she's just now, you know, taking her first steps, and you know, I'd like to see her grow.
Growing there, yeah. You do so much, but one thing that I did not know is that you're also an artist, and
Yeah, I paint
you oh my God, it's beautiful. How long have you been doing that?
since forever, forever. I mean, I am just an artistic person.
Yeah,
To me, if I can't make stuff, it's like I can't breathe,
right,
you know?
right.
So, yeah, I like just making stuff. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, do you have anything coming up? Any upcoming projects for Miss Yolanda Ross?
Well, I am going to be directing my first feature finally. Finally, you know, it's hard as hell getting, you know, financing, especially
Yes,
being black and being a woman. It's not easy.
at
So,
all.
that is in the next year happening.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to everything you got in the works. Thank you so
You
much for
better
your.
be. You better
I
have me
love
back
you.
on talking about that.
I definitely will have you back. I promise you that. But I
Okay.
love you and I thank you for your time. Everybody, this is Miss Yolanda Ross. You can go follow her
Thanks, y'all.
and
Yeah.
go to her page,
Yeah, and it's
www.yolandaross.com.
YOLO in the
Yes.
end. So
Two
you can
O's up in
find
there.
me.
I love you. Thank you so much. We'll be back at 9 o'clock for our second part of Courtney's Corner 101. Have a good one, y'all.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.